Hey everyone, welcome back to the episode 2 of our podcast.
Behind the Bill, Project Management, Stories and Strategies.
Today, we are going to dive into various project execution tools and methodologies. You have heard buzzwords like Agile, Waterfall, Hybrid, Trello, Jira, but what does these exactly mean and more importantly, where do you use them? To decode all this, we have got our go-to project whisperer Aman in the hot seat again. Ready, Aman?
Always ready. Get into it.
All right, let's kick off with the basics. What exactly does these hybrid, waterfall, and agile means, and how do you use them?
Okay. So that's great for a starting point. So I can say methodologies are like a plan to run a project successfully. So let me start with the first one, that is waterfall. So in waterfall, it is like you go step by step. It is like you are constructing a house. Without completing a one step, you cannot move forward to the next. And with the agile, it is more like a flexibility that you get with it. You make the sprints, you make a clear deadline. So it is a process of 1 to 2 weeks to complete a sprint. Then you do a retrospective. So it is basically a very good uh, plan to go with, because in this you after every sprint you get to know what were the things that need to be added or that had gone wrong when you do a retrospective. And with the hybrid, it is more or like a mixture of both. So it take the structured form of the waterfall and the flexibility of the agile. So you mix both of them and you get a great plan that work perfectly for your project. Because when you are planning a project, so you need to keep in mind the changing requirements of the clients. So for that, you can go with the hybrid plan.
Love that. Agile gets a lot of love these days. But what makes it tick in real life and how it actually runs in a team?
Agile is like your favorite TV show. So it is with the short episodes, with the regular feedback and the cliffhanger at the end. So in Agile, you do daily stand-ups with your team to know what we have done yesterday and what we are doing today and what is the next plan for ourselves. Agile, there are sprints in the Agile. It usually take 1 to 2 weeks depending on the task you have in your hand. So there is also retrospective meetings at the end. So in which you came to know what were the issues that you faced in the earlier sprint. So that when you're moving to the next sprint, you know what were the issues that you faced and how you can overcome them and have a great plan for the next sprint.
Good to hear that. Now, Aman, can you please tell us, do you have any real life success story that you want to share with our audience?
Definitely. There is a story. There was an app we were building. So in between, the client asked us to do a whole redo for the app. So earlier we were doing with the waterfall because it was a structured project that we have to follow this. But when we got to know the changes that were required, so we quickly shifted to the agile process. So we created sprint, we involved the client into it, and there were regular demo videos and demo calls with the client. So so the client also felt like it's a part of a team that we are involving them. And when there were changes or any new requirements, so we were adding them to the current sprint or in the next one. So with that, we did a whole redo of the app and we were able to publish it on the platforms, and it was a great process. And I think we also got to know about like what are the challenges that we were facing in the earlier approach, and whenever there is a challenge, how you overcome it and you how your team do in those scenarios. So it was a great experience.
Wow, that's the magic of Agile. Okay, Aman, so let's talk something about tools now. Agile loves its tools, whether it be Trello, Jira, Asana, and whatnot. But how does these tools actually fit in agile process?
Great question. These tools are not just the accessories, they are the essential part of it. So it help in the planning, collaboration of the team. So it structure out the whole process for the team to follow it.
Now let's start simple. So, Aman, for what kind of teams basically are Trello and Asana used for?
For Trello, I think it's a very simple process. There is a Kanban board that you can customize according to your needs. You can create to do, in progress, and move to production, QA. There are also plugins that you can attach, like Slack, Google Drive. For Asana, I can say it is more like a Trello, but in a more structured process. And you divide into timelines, and you divide it into a structured task that you schedule it to your team.
Nice. So, here comes the big one, the Jira, which is the most powerful tool for dev team. So, do you have any thoughts on the Jira tool?
Definitely. Jira is a whole process in which you create user stories, acceptance criteria that is followed by your dev team. Um, there is also a scrum planning from starting to the end. These are also used to do the CI/CD pipelines. So I think it is a whole process and it is my favorite.
So, if we have to sum it up, how should someone choose between Trello, Jira, and Asana?
For Trello, it is for the small team where you have a visual tracking. And for Asana, it is for the multiple team members where you have to follow a structured process. In Jira, it is for the software projects with sprints.
Nice. So, we have heard some useful stuff about the tools. Coming back to our methodologies, let's be honest. Each methodology, whether waterfall, hybrid, or agile, has their downsides too. Let's hear from Aman about some of the cons of these tools.
For Waterfall, I will say it is more of a control and there is less flexibility. In Agile, you can speed up the process, but sometimes it can feel chaotic. And in the hybrid, you get the best of the both world. But I will say it depend upon your project and your project manager, like which process you can follow and which will be best for your outcome.
This has been super insightful. So, if we have to wrap it up, how can someone new to project management decide which methodology to go for?
Clear and fixed, go waterfall. Or flexible, go agile. And if you want a bit of both world, go hybrid.
All right. So, Aman, before we let you go, let's have a quick rapid fire round with you. No overthinking, just the first answer that pops into your head. Ready?
Born ready.
Okay, so the first question is Jira, Trello, or Asana? If
Jira.
you could only use one for a year.
Jira.
Daily stand up or sprint planning?
That's a tough one. Sprint planning.
Nice. So, how many browser tabs do you usually have open?
4 windows having 10 tabs each.
Oh my god, that's huge. Okay, so one big project or multiple small ones?
Multiple small ones.
Meetings before lunch or after lunch?
I will say before lunch because after lunch I need a coffee.
Okay, so the last one, coffee or calendar to survive the week?
Definitely coffee.
Expected. Okay, that was super fun and some solid, honest answers too. Thank you, Aman, for playing along with us.
Always a blast. Thank you for having me. And last piece of advice, whether you are team, Trello, Agile, Waterfall, Hybrid, whatever methodology or tools you are using, always know that the execution matters more than the label.
Thanks to our listeners for being there. If you found today's episode really helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with your network. Got any questions or want us to cover something really specific? Drop a comment or reach us out. Till then, build smarter. Catch you in the next episode.
Do do. Blah, 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 blah.
Up between these tools, how should some questions or want us to cover something specific, drop a comment or reach out.